And so in this video, I want to basically offer you an overview to what motor tic mastery is. So this has been my baby for 5 years. This is a condition that I lived with for between 20 and 25 years. And I've been supporting others now for 5 years in releasing this condition, healing this condition. Tics and Tourette's, the movements of the body, the intensity of these obsessive, compulsive urges inside of the system that make us move. And there's a lot of kids that are living with this these days, especially with the mental health crisis that we are living in today, in this time space, in this age. And at the same time, there are many, many millions of adults that live with this condition too. But because we're kind of dispersed out, it's not usual that we see others close by that we can confide in or find support in or help each other get out of. In fact, the medical system mostly just tells us that it's not something we can really cure or fix, but we can only manage. Now, I say that actually it can be completely healed. It is possible to do. I mean, my journey has clearly communicated that to me and many others that I've worked with over the last 5 years. So the first thing that I would say for motor tic mastery is that in this work that I do, I'm helping people both manage initially, right? Managing if we're overwhelmed, let's just get some tools in there to manage what's going on because things are pretty intense, right? So let's just get some sort of quick fixes, tools, breath work, just anything at the beginning to just really support us, support us to manage the intensity. We then move into the calming of our whole nervous system. We move into the calming and the relaxation of the nervous system. We learn what it means to find rest and peace, not only in the mindfulness and meditation of the stilling of the mind, but of the relaxation, the stillness, and the calmness of the physical body. Because a lot of meditation in the world today is mostly based on, let's just quiet the mind, right? But for tics, it's not about just quietening the mind. It's about quietening the mind, yes, but also softening down into being gently connected again and relaxed in our own physical body. And usually there's another level of embodiment needed there beyond just basic meditation practice. So there's different practices we explore. So we've got managing, we've got calming, and then we finally got stopping, right? So in motor tic mastery, our purpose is to help reduce the frequency and the intensity of tics. Let me say that again. We are reducing the frequency and the intensity. So both of those things lead us to stopping tics. Now, we don't go about stopping tics by attacking the tic, focusing on the tic. I've got to micromanage the tic. That's not how we let go of tics. We let go of tics by healing the body, resetting, relaxing the nervous system, finding spaciousness to feel our emotions so we feel safer in our body. And there's a whole series of tools and practices I share to help us go on that process together. The journey is, varies in length. Some people find a huge amount of value like that within a week or two. Right? And suddenly their tics are stopping 40, 50, 60% in just a week or two, which is kind of nuts, right? And that's pretty fast if you've been living with this condition for a long time, right? And at the same time, for some of us, it takes much longer, right? For me, I didn't really have a guide before me showing me the direction or the way to heal this condition. I had to figure it out myself, and I did that through a lot of traveling, a lot of healing modalities, a lot of stepping out of the current normal way of doing things like taking medicine. I never wanted to do that. I believed deep inside me there was always a way of coming back into balance and health, embodiment, calmness in myself. The point of me bringing that up right now is to say that belief is a big part of this journey too. And as part of my process in helping my clients is building that belief that God, it is possible. It is possible to move beyond this condition, even if you believe right now, I've got no hope, I can't do this. Like, it is possible. I'm living proof of that. So this is Motor Tic Mastery in a very brief nutshell. In 6 minutes I've shared here. This is the website at motorticmastery.com. Please check it out. I'm going to go through the website and show you a little bit about what's around here so that you might be curious about checking out what I have to offer and what might be of service to you and for you on your journey of stopping this condition. I'm not somebody that deals with short-term fixes. I'm a deep healer. So I'm not going to sit here and say, why don't you just quickly pop those medicine pills from the doctors? That's not my approach, right? This is real deep healing, and there's opportunity to heal. There's a big difference between curing and healing. Curing is something where you give your power away to something else, you pop a pill or something, and boom, it's gone. As you know, if you've lived with this condition for a long while, like, it don't work like that. Like, it's so deeply intertwined with let's say deep-seated trauma, nervous system regulation, sensitivities to life, many things that there's no one quick fix. And when I look in the forums online, there's a lot of people looking for one quick fix. If only I just do that one thing, then it'll be gone for my kid, right? If I just done that one thing, then it'll be gone. I've been living with it for 10 years. If I just find that one magic thing. No, the magic thing doesn't exist. It takes discipline and practice to start looking after yourself again to heal this condition. And a lot of people don't have it in them to bother with that. A lot of people do. And if you're committed, I can show you that path and that journey and the direction to start empowering yourself and taking sovereignty, right? And accountability for your body again. Because a lot of people who have tics are like, this thing, it keeps happening to me. I'm so annoyed with it. If only this thing would stop, right? Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Like the tic is a part of you, and every little moment or expression of anger or frustration that we direct towards the tic, we're directing towards ourselves. This is one of the core aspects of the teachings that I share. We've got to learn to take responsibility for it and not think there's somebody out there that's going to fix us. It's us. Even though it feels like it's not us, it's us. Right? So this is really important to remember. As you can tell, I've been doing this for a long time, and I can just talk and talk and talk about this condition, upside down, inside out. I've worked with thousands of people who've been through my programs now, and I've watched so many wonderful, miraculous curves of healing. I've received so much beautiful feedback, incredible testimonies on this work. And I want to show you my website so you can get a glimpse of what's going on here. So you might find some resolve maybe in your journey. So as I said before, I've been through it. I lived with it for 25 years. It started with nose twitching, and my eyes, and then my jaw was tense and twitching and lots of movement for a long time, deeply intertwined with tension and stress. And then it was like my neck, and I was moving my neck like this, trying to get to that urge inside me. I really need to feel that thing, And I continued suppressing and holding all this stuff down, and it went down my arm, and then I was like jogging my arm for hundreds, thousands of times a day for 10 years. This tic, the other tics were earlier on. So it's been a hell of a journey healing. But it's very possible. So quite often I say, if you want to scale a, let's say, a 200-foot wall and become a rock climber, do you go to somebody who's learned about rock climbing in books? Or do you go to somebody who's who can scale 200-foot walls with their eyes closed with the ropes and has been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years. Like, who do you go to? And in our current world, we all seem to go to people that have read about these conditions in books instead of going to people who've been through the same conditions that we've been through. Because we've all been convinced that the medical system has all the answers. But for chronic conditions like this, the medical system doesn't have answers. They have band-aids. I've had so many conversations with parents who are like, I've been giving my kid medicine because that's what the doctors told me to do. And like, the side effects are so bad, it's not really helping much at all, if anything. Right. And now they've got other problems as well. And like, and they've changed their behavior and their attitude, and it feels like they're a different person, and they can't sleep, and like, whatever it is. Like, so many problems with taking this medicine. There are better ways of dealing with it. So, can you feel my passion there as it comes through? Yeah, the passion is there. So, this is one of the best places to start on my website. I have 2 free trainings available. One for adults who have tics, one for parents of children who are showing early signs of ticking. So you sign up on here, watch the free training, and I'm going to send you some emails with some more information, some more guidance, some, let's say, some more information about my approach, even though you're getting a sense and you're feeling me here about sort of how I do my work. But you can go deeper here. I recorded these videos, admittedly, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, so you can see my face here is a little bit different than my face there. So I've been doing this work for a while. I've got 2 primary programs, one which is the MTM method for adults, Manage, Calm and Stop Tics, and I have one primary recorded video program alongside that for parents of children. So these are my 2 pre-recorded video programs. I also have Zoom-based programs. So I offer one-on-one coaching for adults, which includes a mixture of CBT therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and embodiment work, mindfulness work. It's not, for me, talk therapy isn't enough to deal with this condition. Let's just talk about it and hope it goes away. To me, that's not enough. So CBT just by itself never felt it was deep enough. Talk therapy is great to a point, but this is a very embodied, physical, dense, tissue, nervous system based condition. So it's got to be deeper than just talking about things. And so I intertwine practices in somatic relationship and connection to the body, in trauma release, in embodiment to become aware physically of this being more, to ground, to notice, to then become more aware of yourself. And so you can see the urges earlier on before they even happen. As well as things like mindfulness, breath work, emotional wellness. Because if we start feeling more, right, we start getting to the root of what's behind or underneath the tic. Because each tic is, in short, a distraction from another feeling underneath it. And so our role is to create as much space together in this CBT and embodiment MTM program, enough emotional space so that we can get to the rooter causes of why this thing is even happening in the first place. And once a pocket of emotion has been felt and really experienced, because it didn't have the opportunity to be experienced when it initially happened when you were younger, right? To be experienced, and those emotions are felt, they go, they disappear, and the shaken up bottle of all the emotions that you've been storing and pushing out for so long get to fizz out and release. You get to become lighter, more spacious. that's when the tics decide to start slowing down. They start to relax. They start to reduce in their intensity. So this is deep healing, and this is real healing, right? Getting into the pockets of energy or emotion that haven't been processed yet. And we do that much more deeply in obviously the one-on-one Zoom-based coaching than the pre-recorded video program. So I work over Zoom with anybody all over the world. I say anybody. My point being is that I've worked with clients as young as 7 years old and as old as 70, 72 years old. So tics affect us all. Most of my clients are from the America, Canada, UK, Australia, some places in Europe. But these are the main areas where I have noticed the condition, but also I'm only English speaking, so these are the main English speaking countries too. So this is my space. But because I'm on Zoom, we can usually find a time. I'm very flexible for and with my clients. I live in Bali, actually, and usually morning for me and evening or afternoon in the Americas works really well. And for Australian clients, it's very easy. We've got plenty of time to find an opportunity to meet. So this is what we're doing. We're interrupting the movement of the tic. We're finding deeper mindfulness and presence in the body. We're becoming awareness of our emotions and regulating our emotional body and our nervous system. We're using breath work. But also we're just trusting the energetic field of where we need to move to. But using those words might not connect to a lot of people because although if we tic, we are very sensitive beings. If we tic, we haven't yet discovered the energetic nature of life. Energy is just another way of saying that it's possible for us to become aware of spirit, or it's possible for us to become aware of the quantum field. It's possible for us to become aware of vibes. Like vibes, you feel the vibe, you know the vibes. Like energy matters. Energy is here and we are aware of it, even though we don't put a lot of attention on it often. So this understanding this space is also part of the healing process. And that awareness is what I often bring to my clients to help us see and understand why you're ticking in the first place. So we can go deeper, 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 deeper to release the stuck trauma or the stuck emotions. Okay, that's a nice photo of me somewhere hot and sunny. So this is what I offer for adults and one-on-one Zoom anywhere in the world. I do the same thing for parents too. So for parents and kids, I have the pre-recorded video program, yes, but I also have the one-on-one Zoom-based program. And in this program, I work with children and parents together. So depending on the age of your child, you might be in the same room. Maybe if they're a teen, you want to be in a slightly different room. Maybe you want to be in a different room and you want to have a second screen up on Zoom so you can still see what's going on, but you can give your child a bit of space to go through their process of healing. Sometimes I do half the session with your child and the other half of the session just with parents. Sometimes I run the sessions where I am with all of you, mom, dad, and son, daughter, for the whole hour. So we tailor it to what feels right for you and your family, and the age and the sensitivity of your child, where they're at, and what they need in this moment, how receptive they are to learning and receiving and allowing their body to find another level of peace, relaxation, surrender in a way, and trust. Because we want to help the little one's nervous system get into a place where the body can naturally do what it needs to do. With tics, if they're 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old and they're ticking, there's a as I've said before, like the pocket of tension or trauma or emotion that's got stuck in there somewhere, and like their body is like jumping on top of it, not wanting to feel that thing. So our job is to create as much space as we can in different breathing practices, connecting to the body, movement practices, to create room. Kids are just so bright. I mean, they're bright, powerful, loving beings. As we get older, like we mostly forget in adulthood. We've been programmed out to our love and our present moment experience of life, right? I mean, kids are great at it, and we just gotta find a little bit of room for them, create a little bit of room for them to just be able to feel safe to drop in, to allow those stuck emotions to release. That's ultimately what I come back to again and again. So I have dozens and dozens of these embodiment practices, connection practices, breathing practices, energy work practices, visualization practices, and depending on who I work with and where the kid's at, we will use different ones. And at the beginning, usually we're exploring what feels right, what practices work well for your son or daughter, right? Because sometimes one thing that works for one kid, the other kid is so averse off and closes very fast and it just won't work. So like we play and we explore, how is your child receptive to opening here and relaxing into their body, out of some of their mind because they feel unsafe in the world, so that so they can feel connected to the body and safe again. So it's the same process for adults and kids. It's just kids are a little bit more, they're just finer, more sensitive to work with from a practitioner perspective, right? Just a little bit more sensitive, so a little bit gentler. But the process of just relaxing down into the body is the same. For kids, I'm noticing the insane sensitivity that our younger kids have today. I mean, like, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And it's such a blessing working with kids. They're like, in the energy world, visualization world, the things that we can do to move energy and prepare them for a new world. Because the current world, like, you see how the current world operates right now? It's a mess out there, right? The old systems of institutions and the nation states, and where we're still fighting each other, and like the left and the right, and the Democrat and the Republican, and like everyone's pitted up against each other given the propaganda that we're given in the news system, right? But there's a way of living in our world beyond that whole absurdity of them versus us. And these kids that are so sensitive are going to be leading the way in the new world. And can we get them ready, right? Can we get them ready for this new world, right? Can we help them feel safe and ready to go? And the sensitivity energetically that I'm seeing in these kids, they're just blowing me away, blowing me away. Anyway, point being, bless the work that I do. That's my point. So this is what I offer for parenting kids. Another point here worth mentioning is that quite often it's the mom and dad, it's the parents that are creating the energetic field, creating the mind structure for the kid to live within. So although the kid's coming through and being born with their own personality and natural tendency to be like this or that, and if you have two different kids, of course you can see, well, clearly, like, how did they end up so different? Right? But the point being is that as parents, you have a huge influence on the creation of the mindset and the emotional body of your child. And if you as parents haven't honored, acknowledged, worked on, looked after, cared for your mind and your emotional body through much of your life, because it was never a priority for you when you were younger, or you've just been caught up in the hamster wheel of a 9-to-5 life, or just busy bringing up kids. You haven't been able to prioritize yourself because you've given everything to them, Whatever it is, the point being is that more often than not, your unconscious shadows, the parts of you that you haven't cared for as parents, is being projected onto your kids all the time. If you can remember back to Jungian psychology, he describes this really beautiful. The shadow, the underworld, the stuff we're unaware of in our behaviors is the stuff that plays out unconsciously. Our kids get it all. Our kids download it all. And so although you as a parent might not be ticking, what parts of you might be influencing an unsafety in your child's mind or body? And tics is just one of the ways that your child might be responding. Now, I'm not saying that it's always fully and completely the parent's fault why a child is ticking, but I am saying that more often than not, I do notice tension or anxiety or levels of stress in parents of a child who is ticking. It's very common, if not pretty much all the time, right? And if mom and dad were so gentle and calm and they were looking after themselves a little bit better, their emotional wellness, their mind was a little bit stiller, they took a breath a little bit more often before speaking, then they would naturally be creating much more emotional space and room for their child. So part of my work here isn't about just fixing a child, because if a child is not broken if he has tics or she has tics, it's about creating space for the whole family to live more harmoniously, with more emotional wellness and awareness, so that the intensity and the stresses that maybe are seeping in from the office or from the tests at school can at least find some resolution and calmness and serenity in home, at the home, like at home. So this is the work that I offer. This is the work that I offer, and I've been on this journey for a long time, finding my rest, having lived with this body, having lived with my condition for so long. So this is it: emotional awareness, embodiment, relaxation, calming of the mind and the body. So this is all available on here. I have a blog as well. So pricing and things you can check out on the website. I'm not going to talk about pricing on this video because my pricing does change occasionally, and somebody watching this video now versus in 3 months or 6 months might see a different price point. So do check out my website for the latest pricing. Okay. Blog-wise. So I have a whole ton of content here which is worth checking out if you'd like to. The free trainings I've already talked about, but I have a whole bunch of videos that I recorded 3-4 years ago on YouTube, and I've created a lot of blog posts associated with all this content, and just a lot of really wonderful tools and techniques and perspectives about the condition from somebody who's been through it and healed it. So recommended. Some of the videos are a little bit older, so you might even notice in some of the early videos here that I've got in some of the blog posts. For example, this one here, why do you have a motor tic or Tourette's? Go down to the bottom. This guy here is pretty jittery, right, and very high energy and a little bit ticky. So at the beginning of when I started doing this work, I was still healing the remnants of this condition from myself. These days, I am so much more calmer. I recorded that video maybe 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. It's quite a while ago now. So lots of content on my blog. Check it out if you're interested. You might find some value there if you're curious about this condition. You can also go to YouTube and go to Motor Tic Mastery. You might have found this video on my YouTube channel, or you might have found it elsewhere on my website. So I am letting you know here that in Motor Tic Mastery, I have a whole bunch of content, lots of videos on a mixture of stuff. Most popular ones, eye blinking, neck tics, social anxiety and shame in the context of tics and Tourette's, questions about magnesium or supplements, guided meditations, knowing your triggers. There's all sorts of stuff here, which is free content too. So explore around, check out this stuff, see what vibes for you, see what works. If you feel a trust in me, reach out. Let's work together. If you want to check out my online programs, check out my online programs. In the coming weeks, I'm very excited to be recording even more videos for my YouTube channel. I'm currently going through improving videos in the bigger programs too. And I'm probably going to be recording a new program as well in the coming 3 or 4 months. So there's all sorts of goodness coming, and there's a lot of beautiful content here for you too. So, hey guys, this is Motor Tic Mastery. This has been my baby now for 5 years. This is the work that I do. I've also added a lot of the recordings from YouTube onto Spotify as a podcast. So if you're a podcast geek, you can search for Motor Tic Mastery on Spotify or Apple Podcasts too, if you want to get that on your phone as well to listen along to some of the content. So there's so much here that I've poured my heart into in supporting those of you that live with tics intellectual parents to learn more about the condition. And obviously, but whilst doing this too, I've learned so much about myself and about this condition, because it is like through teaching others about our greatest demons, we get to become masters of our own demons, right? It's genuinely how this life works. Yeah, conquer the shadow world, conquer the stuff that's holding you back, and then lead from the light, from the darkest parts of you, right? Because you've transmuted it into the light. Yeah. Ow! Alrighty, I think that's a solid 30-minute introduction to Motor Tic Mastery. Reach out, say hi in the comments, email me, sign up to a program, ask me your questions. There's also a Facebook group as well. If you search for Motor Tic Mastery on Facebook, there's a group you can join too, with content being shared into there. I'm usually fairly good at replying to emails, but I do get a lot, so I can't always go into details on emails. I'll usually just send you a link to the right thing for you to do next, whether that's joining one of my programs or doing the Zoom-based stuff or checking out the free content, whatever it is. So I try to reply to all emails, but I can't. I get a lot. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching the video, and hope to be in touch with you at some point in the future. Okay, ciao.